So I've read hundreds of personal development books over the years. Obviously, there's a ton of overlap, a lot of similar themes, characteristics, ideas. What I've done is distill all those books down into 6 books with a bonus that I think will add tremendous value to your life, will help you capture the things that are most important and streamline the whole process. So here are 6 books that will change your life. Number 1 is Relentless by Tim Grover. Now, I have this on Audible as well. There's a few books, and not many, but a few that I read or listen to over and over and over again. This happens to be one of them. It's about Michael Jordan's trainer, Kobe Bryant's trainer, and just talks about their mental state, how they looked at the world and the tenacity with which they approached their craft. It really puts my effort level into perspective. You know how sometimes we slip into those lulls a little bit? You know, I certainly forget what hard work means from time to time. This asks that question, do you really want it? Because if you do, you have to be leveling up. You have to be fully committed to the process. It's just an incredible reminder. The most motivational book I've ever read, hands down. So highly recommended, Relentless by Tim Grover. Next, we have The Obstacle is the Way, and I hope this is in frame here, by Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday is a relayer of Stoicism, giving sort of modern day examples and making it digestible in 2023, and he does a great job. The theme of this book is the obstacle being the way, the difficult thing being the thing. Not that we should run from, but the very thing we need. It's just an incredible philosophy, an incredible way to look at life, and the stories and anecdotes in that book are really powerful, really bring it home. So The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Number 3, we have Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Now, this is a book I've never shut up about. It's one of the most powerful books I've ever read. The idea is simple. It's that we think growth means more, acquisition. What can I get? What can I obtain? The whole point of this is, no, you're looking at it wrong. Invert the equation. What can you dismiss? What can you get rid of so that all that's left is what you need most? Just a powerful message and a constant reminder to us that less is more. We should be identifying the things that matter and going all in on those. Highly recommended. Essentialism, Greg McKeown. Number 4, and I don't have a physical copy to show because I listened to it on Audible, but Deep Work by Cal Newport. You know, in an age of digital distraction, the whole idea is, how do we remove the noise, the clutter, and put ourselves in position to work on the things that matter distraction-free? How do we set our worlds up so that we can provide or allocate our attention to the things that actually move us along? It's a really important read, a very practical, pragmatic read. You know, being that a lot of what I do is digital, it's media, I'm constantly surrounded by notifications, bells, dings, whistles, right? And it's like, a lot of times I find myself going down rabbit holes that I don't need to be going down. It's not that they don't add value, it's that they add a fraction of the value of the big, important things I should be doing. And it's a reminder to that. It feels like, if you look at Essentialism by Greg McKeown, it's like the next step. There's a lot of application, and they sort of go together. The message there, find a way to focus on the 20% that adds 80% of the value, something that applies to everyone, and highly recommended. Deep Work by Cal Newport. Number 5, James Clear's Atomic Habits. Now, this is a forever bestseller. We all know it, we've seen it, it's been around. I'd be remiss not to include it. It's just such an impactful book, how it explains why and how we need to look at the world in order to change ourselves, but also provides very practical, tangible steps. And to me, the marriage of those two things is just incredible. You know, how do you look at the world and see yourself in it so that you are able to change? And also, how do you create your surroundings and change your environment so that you can win? How do you position your room, your house, the world around you, so that you can create the habits that will ultimately transform you? Incredible book. If you are finding yourself in a place where things feel a little bit sloppy, unorganized, disoriented, if you're having trouble creating or manufacturing momentum in your life, I would start here. I would. Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of the best. Number 6, a little bit of a curveball. I'm actually going to include 2 fiction books in this category because the stories and the lessons from them are so powerful, right? Human beings are storytellers. That's how we communicate, through stories. And I feel like, that's the reason these 2 stand out to me and have been as impactful as they have. So the first one I've talked about before, The Martian by Andy Weir. You can draw a direct line from this book to life. You have an astronaut stuck on Mars, almost 0% odds of surviving. And just using the limited resources he has, is able to manufacture enough to get to the next day and the next and the next, and ultimately through it all. And by the way, does so with sort of a fun, self-deprecating, witty attitude the entire time. It's just a reminder of what we can do when we are resourceful and understand that everything we need, we have. Which brings me to the next book, Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand. Incredible story here. You have a runner who goes to fight in World War II, a young kid, his plane shot down in the Pacific, barely survives. He's captured by the Japanese, goes from internment camp to internment camp, and just goes through hell that we can't even fathom. It's a level of torture and just pain, right, that's sort of beyond us. And there's a line at the end that sticks to me, and I'm paraphrasing, but he's ultimately saved at the end of the war by the Americans, and he's asked, could you do this again? And he says, I'd rather die. And to me, it sort of reiterates the idea from The Martian. It's like human beings, when taking things, even the most horrifying things, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, can get through levels of hell that when you look over your shoulder and it's done, you think, I couldn't do that. That's insane. That mountain is too tall to climb. But it's a testament to the resilience, the power of the human spirit, what we can endure when we focus, when we move through life step by step by step. I find both of these books very moving in different ways, sure, but they pack a punch and they just provide life lessons that I promise you will be useful in your world. And as promised, have a little bonus here for you. These books, or this series of books, they're not necessarily related, but have helped me create perspective in my life. And these are the biographies of the founding fathers. So specifically Washington by Ron Chernow, John Adams by David McCullough, and Thomas Jefferson by John Meacham. So I have a tendency sometimes to feel like my problems are huge, are way bigger than they are. Because in reality, not only are they not the end of the world, they are very manageable and shouldn't be seen as these giant mountains to climb, right? And in the perspective of the folks who sculpted out a nation, the tenacity with which they did it, the resilience, the sacrifice, the amount they put on the line, the selflessness, it's the perspective that I need, right? And the idea is, if it adds value to you, it probably will add value to others as well. I'm always a fan of the idea of reading biographies of impactful men and women. I just find that when I dig into the well of the founding fathers, I'm so awed and inspired that it helps me realign what matters and be better in my own pursuits. So I would suggest you give that a try. There's obviously multiple biographies for all of them, and all of them will add value to your life, create that perspective, and help you push through whatever it is you are looking to do. There we have it, 6 books and a bonus that will change your life. If you believe I left anything off, you have a favorite, a staple that you think should be on that list, let me know in the comments. Would love to chat about it. If this brought value to you, please subscribe. It helps me get the message out to others. And lastly, if you're looking for more ideas, tips, stories like this that help you maximize your day-to-day, I have a weekly newsletter. It's completely free. You can unsubscribe at any time. It's eddiepinero.com/newsletter. Would love to have you as part of the community. See you there.